Please mute yourself. All right, all right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dr. B Stress Free, Real Talk for You. And I'm excited. I'm excited because I know for a fact that we are definitely making a difference just by educating, motivating to elevate our communities. And we are here every week on Tuesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are definitely looking to just help work with the community, talk about health and wealth. And of course, there's a lot of politics going on. I haven't focused a lot on that right now because I know you guys are hearing enough just on the news and all of that. But it's so important for us to be aware of what's going on in our communities and that. And so that's what we're here for. And this week, we're going to be highlighting credit. And I know we've heard all different tales about what to do and how to deal with good credit. And I know I was always, my goal was to hardly have any credit because I felt that was a good thing. But if you need to have it, you need to balance it a lot of times. You want to make sure that you have it just right. You want to make sure that your scores, you monitor your scores and all of that. And so credit is very, very important. It's very, very important to our lifestyle. And so on. And please mute yourself because I'm hearing some people. But it's really, really important. So I have a young lady today that we have traveled together and we're doing some great things together. And that's what I love about our business is that I've been able to travel with a lot of folks that I do business with as well. And see, that's all about networking. And what we're creating here is what I call a village. And that village is going to put us in a position where whatever we need, we can reach out and touch. And that's what it's all about. And most other ethnic groups and stuff like that, they have that. They're already set up with that. They're raised with that. And unfortunately, within the predominantly Black community, we lack that a lot of times. And so my goal is to just kind of pull together our experts. And we've had mental health specialists on, we've had phlebotomists, we've had chiropractors, we are very educated, but now we have to figure out how to share the wealth. So the lady that I want to introduce to you, she is the owner and CEO of Orchard Business Funding and Advisors, LLC. And what they do is they actually help people get business credit. And we haven't been educated. I know I have not been educated as much on business credit. A lot of times we try to do it ourselves. We try to um, just weather the storm on our own. I've done it. I've been involved in my Heels on Wheels trucking, and you guys don't want me to get into that right now because it's definitely been a storm as far as that's concerned, based on the pandemic, based on just even being able to get drivers, based on, parts, logistics, all of that has played a part. So, anywho, business credit is a whole nother beast. And it's something that we definitely need to be educated on. And so the primary goal at Orchard is to help you secure business loans and credit lines with great terms, even if you have been told no. How many times have we been told no? I don't like the word no. I don't know about you all, and that's probably why I've never really tried to get a whole lot of credit because I didn't want to, if they told me no, I want to know why. I do know the importance of staying on top of your credit. So I do actually pay for software that actually tells me if there's anything derogatory going on my credit, I want to know about it and I'm on top of it. And so I do suggest that for everyone, even though we're not talking about credit right now, personal credit, we're talking about business credit. We're talking about perhaps you have a business you want to get started, or you already have an LLC and you want to know what's the tricks of the trade, and there's always tricks to get your business started. So without further ado, what I would like to do is introduce to you this awesome lady. She's going to finish telling you a little bit about her background. And her name is Clotilda Jackson.
Thank you, Dr. B. I had to think about who you were talking about there for a minute.
You're funny.
But I appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk to you guys about business credit, something that I enjoy talking about. And I know that for some reason, the very first thing we think about when we want to start a business is that we know we need some money. Somehow we've been conditioned to think that we need to either go to the bank or SBA. We know we can't do either of those two. We know that we don't have the credit that we need to have in place to get a business loan because we can't get a personal loan. We
Mhm.
also have heard stories about SBA in terms of the information that you have to provide them, tax information, and so on and so forth. And so that's a disincentive in itself. So we turn to funding our businesses with our own money. And I'm here tonight to talk about the fact that we don't have to do that, never did have to do that, but it's all about being educated in terms of how do you acquire business credit? So a question that I get asked all the time is, do I need business credit? And my
Mhm.
answer is yes and no. So you say, well, how can it be both? That depends on whether or not you want your business to grow. If you never have any intentions of needing funding for your business, if you never intend to apply for a business loan, if you're not planning on growing your business, then no, you do not need business credit. However, all businesses need business financing to survive, grow, and thrive. So that in itself gives us our yes. So if you can get business credit without personal guarantee, without risking your personal assets, then that's what you want to do. So one of the things that I tell people is that my particular company, we're not in competition with the bank because bank is not loaning money to everybody. They are very
Mhm.
conservative and they're only going to loan money to those individuals or whoever they feel that is no risk involved. So where is it that everybody else goes to get funding? So that's what, I'm here to share some information with you because there are lenders out there, there are alternative lenders, and that is their goal is to make sure that you are able to get the funding that you need without all of the documentation that we are afraid that we don't have and can't provide. So in our situation, it's not always necessary. But I want to share 5 business credit mistakes people often make.
Okay.
Uh, Number one, not having your business foundation in order. And that means the entity set up, a bank account, a website, uh, using the email for a business email, not using your MSN, Yahoo, all those personal. And there's a list of things that you need to have in place. A lot of people don't think that that is important. That's
Mhm.
very important because lenders want to know that you are legitimate. And these are the things that they look at to determine that you are either legitimate or this may be a hobby. So they're not going to take you as seriously as if all of the things are in place. Another one would be applying with wrong lenders based on your unique credit profile. Every business is different. You have a different product, you have different goals and objectives, different business model. So that means that you're going to have a different credit profile. So if you're applying to the wrong lenders based on your unique credit profile, that could be a reason that you would be turned down. Another one is using your personal credit for business expenses, and that's a big one right there, and sabotaging your scores in the process. Because when you start using your personal funds, at some point, you're going to tap out. You're not going to have,
Mhm.
you're going to run out of money. And even if the bank is loaning you money, at some point, they are not going to do it unconditionally forever. So at some point, you're going to tap out, and you by then may have sabotaged your personal scores. So now you can't get the things that you want to do for your family. Not knowing how to optimize your application for maximum approvals. So with my business, one of the things that we do, everything we do is automated and we're taking advantage of technology. And so when we're talking about maximizing your application for maximum approvals, we're talking about automatic approvals.
Mhm.
Because if you've ever applied for an app something credit and they say you could find out in a matter of minutes,
Mhm.
that process is automated. They're just putting in information. The lenders that they are using to do the underwriting have criteria in place, and they're just meaning you have to meet the criteria, either you do or you don't. But you don't know what the criteria is, so you're just sort of like, trial and error going through the process.
I have a
Or
question.
maybe you give up too soon, because you were initially declined.
I got
You
a
got that
question.
no, and it was discouraging.
Okay. So real quick,
Mhm.
because I know that some of those are automatic. can you tell us generally what they're looking for? Because I've seen the automatic, like, you've already been pre-approved, but don't tell me I've been pre-approved and then I apply and you turn me down. So
Right.
is there like a generic uh, platform or place, that they use in order to
I am
determine?
going to say that the answer to the question is there are approximately 125 different criteria that banks and lenders are going to use, and you don't know what they are.
Ah,
And you will probably never know what they are. So it's almost like you are working in the dark, trying to figure out what is the criteria. And I can't help but defer back to how my business model, how my business operates, because we have all of that information. We
mhm.
have all of that information when you are enrolled in our Business Credit Builder program. That information is provided to you as it fits in with your business profile that you have just established, or that you have provided the information. So what we don't do is we don't allow you to apply for anything that we know you're not going to automatically be approved for. So we're always going for that automatic approval. So when you get to the point that you are ready to apply for a loan,
Mhm.
uh, credit, we know what the criteria is, and therefore upfront. So we're not actually going to be applying for anything that you're not going to get approved for.
So
So
are you are
yeah.
you are you saying that if you know how they send you the stuff in the mail and says you're pre-approved for this and that, does that really mean you're pre-approved, or it just means you have a good chance of being approved?
You have a chance of being approved. You met a
Yeah.
set of criteria. All you did was meet a set of criteria, and they have
Right,
not pulled your credit. So
right,
that just
exactly.
means that you met this initial criteria that said that there's a strong possibility that you will be approved. Now, I get this thing from Credit Karma now telling me that I have been pre-approved for something, and if I don't get it, Credit Karma will pay me $50.
Now that's a new one.
So, it's very competitive out here. We don't necessarily think about uh, banks and financial institutions, but they are competitive, and they're trying to get our money.
Speaking of
So
credit,
when we're talking, go ahead.
speaking of Credit Karma, my understanding is that I always understood that Credit Karma is kind of like a quick way of getting assessment of your credit. I think they might be getting better and better and better, because when they first started out, their numbers were off. There was no question about it. As a real estate broker, I know, because that I would tell my clients, we're not dependent on that, but that's at least a start. Now you're saying that what Credit Karma is saying now is if they offer a credit card or something to you, and if you're not approved, they will give you $50. Is that for someone such as yourself because you have your stuff together, or if they offering that to everybody?
Well, that is based on your profile. And that's why I'm saying you have a personal credit profile as well
Mhm.
as a business credit profile. And that profile says that you met a certain criteria, and they still don't know until they pull that credit. So nobody has pulled your credit. So on the personal side, which I don't really do a lot with personal other than try to draw a scenario on what the differences are, that is just a part of the industry. That's how the industry functions. They are trying to incent you to apply so that they can run the credit, and that's when they will determine how much you will get. And how much you get, all of that is based on criteria that they've established and the information that they have. So when I'm
Mhm.
talking business credit is different. So all of that goes to personal credit. And we're all familiar with how personal credit operates. That's been drilled into us from day one when we got our first credit card. So we either, have been trudging along trying to keep our credit scores
Scared to
together,
use it.
or or it went to a hell basket a long time ago. So we're just doing the best we can, just to put it mildly. So if I don't use my personal assets for my business, then how do I grow my business? Starting with trade vendor accounts, and you may have heard them referred to as trade lines. I know you've heard of trade lines before.
Mm-hmm.
Trade vendor credit is easy to obtain, and it does not typically require that you give a personal guarantee. Trade accounts are established for that purpose of helping you to establish business credit. So we're talking about credit where you could buy vehicles, you could get gas, computers, supplies, all kinds of things that you can get without putting debt on your personal credit. And that's what I want to talk more about, is how you're not going to be using your personal credit for your business. Some business credit does require personal guarantee, but it's not going to report on your personal credit unless you pay late.
Mm-hmm.
So there may be times that they will ask you for a personal guarantee, but they've got to identify who you are. So they may ask you for your social, they may ask you for that information because you're asking for a credit product. But as long as you pay on time, it does not even show up on the personal side of the house. If we drew a line in the sand, business is on one side, personal is on the other, you know what your personal score is, you have a business account, it doesn't even show up on your personal unless it's late, and then it's something derogatory. So as long as you pay on time. So a business establishes credit in its own name. A
Okay.
business has its own credit profile and it has its own credit score.
Mm-hmm. So
It's
like an
all
individual.
in.
I said it's like an
Well,
individual. It's its own entity.
yes. So you have a social security number,
Mm-hmm.
you have an EIN number, and it has the same amount of digits in it. So your business has
Mm-hmm.
its own number. It's called an EIN. And that's what we are building credit on for the business. And you have built credit on your social for your personal.
Right. I got a question.
Okay.
So you indicated that you could get the business credit. Sometimes they want a guarantor, and I understand that part. And the guarantee is just basically identifying who you are. Will that business credit be held against your debt to ratio on your personal credit? Do you know?
No, business credit and personal credit are two different things.
Mm.
Business credit begins the day you open up that first business account. So
Okay.
business credit can start today. You got a trade account. It starts today. So I know you've heard of Granger, Uline,
Mm-hmm.
Quill. Those are just some names that come off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
So when you open an account with those entities and you make a purchase, that's the day business credit starts. With your personal, it started back when you were 18 years old and got that first credit card, and it just followed you all the way through your life.
Mm-hmm.
Business credit is not like that. It's only concerned about how you pay those people that you owe that money to. They're not interested in any historical anything. It's just how you go pay them. There is a credit bureau for your business, Experian, TransUnion, Dun and Bradstreet. There's a business credit bureau, just like we're familiar with the credit bureau on the personal side.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we talk about when I ask you, well, what's your business credit score? And people will say, what? Because they
Right.
didn't realize that they had one. So these are things that are important as it relates to business credit based on your EIN. Now, I'm not saying that personal credit does not matter at all. Personal credit is required to personally guarantee financing for certain things. But remember, I said that as long as you're paying on it on time, it it doesn't even show up. So it's not going to be derogatory. It's not going to pull your credit score down or anything like that. But to give you an example, if you had a 680 personal credit score, that would be a credit score that is required for a product that we have. It's called a credit line hybrid. A credit line hybrid is a program where they look at your credit, and if it is of a certain number, you are able to get uh, maybe 5 times a certain amount of your largest credit card. So these credit cards that they're going to give you are
Mm-hmm.
designed for you to pull cash off of. That's the whole sole purpose of them. So if you can get, say, $50,000 in credit cards of a combination, then you would be able to then pull the cash off of those to use the cash for what it is that you want to do. So when I talk about funding, funding can be a credit card, it can be a line of credit, or it could be a loan. So
Mm-hmm.
don't automatically assume that you need a loan just because you need funding.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what it is you're trying to do, how long you've been in business, and there is always going to be a criteria that
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to meet. So the example that I just gave you about the 680 personal score, that would be able to help you get a better rate. So in in the business world, when they're looking at your personal score, is trying to see if that's going to, they can use that to help you get a better rate on that business loan or whatever it is that you're going to
A
get.
better interest rate?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Now, if your score is not there, you can still get business credit. It just may take a little bit longer because we can find out what was wrong. Just like you said, you have the ability to, you have some software that you use to monitor your credit.
Yes. Uh-huh.
One of the things that we do on in my world is we will tell you or to go out and get the LexisNexis report. LEXIS, Lexis Nexus, Nexis, not like the car. I had
No, I
somebody
got
try to
you.
correct me one time and I just let it go because I didn't want to embarrass them. But
Yeah.
it's Lexis, Lexus, Nexis,
Okay.
LexisNexis. This
Okay.
is a report that has been, it has everything that you've ever done. You'd be surprised the information is probably as thick as some big novel on some people. And that is
Wow.
where lenders are going to go to get information to decide whether or not they're going to whether or not they're going to make you a loan and how much it's going to be. So the value that we bring is knowing what each vendor needs to see in order for the approval. So
Right.
that's information that you don't have on the front end. That's information that we can provide as you are working through our program. So the more credit you build, the more credit you can get. So that's typically loans and lines of credit typically require some kind of a personal credit check. When I say credit check, they got to run it. They got to run
Mm-hmm.
it to identify who you are. They got to
Mm-hmm.
run it to see, what the score may be so that they can see if they can give you a better rate on the other side.
Okay, I got a question. So you
Okay.
mentioned LexisNexis, and so are you recommending? And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is for people that have, and you have a business. If you don't have a business, you can start a business. We can help you with get your LLC and help you get started, and then help you get started right away with establishing business credit. Now, if you already have a business, what I'm hearing you say, Clotilda, is that we need to get our LexisNexis report, or is there something on us with LexisNexis, even if we don't have a business?
You can get a LexisNexis report to find out what any lender can find out about you. I'm
Mm,
not recommending anything. I'm just sharing and I'm just telling you, it's up to you to take in all of this information and to decide, if it's something that you think you want to look into. But you can Google LexisNexis and it'll tell you the purpose of that report.
okay. Well, I put
Yes.
that in the chat. So we have
Yes, it will tell
LexisNexis.
you if you Google it, it'll tell you the purpose of the report. I can't tell, it's not free, but it is something that you can get. So when we were talking about, there are over 125 factors of fundability that will impact the approvals that ensure lower rates and guarantee better terms. And we know, the exact recipe for that fundability because we have the company over 10 years has tracked a whole lot of data. We have over 200 alternative lenders that we work with. But before you can ever get to a lender, you got to get your credit in order. And we know the best fit for different financial programs. We know how to qualify even for more funding in the future, but we still have to get the business credit going. So business credit quality will do three things for you. If you got your business credit in order, you're going to get approved and how much you can get approved for and the rates and the terms. So again, it's not that we're throwing business credit, personal credit out the window. We're just saying that it can come in and play a significant part if you have it, but if you don't, it'll just take a little bit longer. If there's something that is keeping you from getting the credit that you want, we can help you determine what that is. And the one thing that we're going to do is help you get access to that LexisNexis report. So personal credit is based on credit history, credit limit, utilization. We're not talking about utilization over here in the business world.
Mm-hmm. Now,
We're
what I
not,
did do, I put in the chat, I looked it up as you gave me direction, and it says LexisNexis report includes items such as real estate transactions and ownership, data, judgments and bankruptcy, records, professional license information, and historical addresses.
have you ever been arrested? It'll get that too. Have you ever
Whoa. No, I
Oh
haven't.
yeah, oh yeah. See, I'm saying that there's a lot of information out there, and different lenders, they have different algorithms that they use to
Mm-hmm.
calculate certain things. And those
Mm-hmm.
algorithms are based on whatever they're based on. We just don't know what that is. So that's the reason that I am sharing with you now. And if you were to have enrolled into our credit program, at some point you are get to the point where we talk about monitoring your credit and knowing what's out there. And we
Mm-hmm.
would be recommending that you might want to look into getting your LexisNexis report, because there is information that you may, and it doesn't mean that the information is correct.
Mm-hmm. So
So
then,
they may be making decisions based
right.
on information that is incorrect. And if you can find out what it is, then you can do something about it. And if it is correct, you can still fix it.
Okay. All right.
So business credit is built on one thing and one thing only. It's how you pay the bill starting today. But it takes roughly 6 to 9 months to build business credit. So it's not a one-shot kind of thing. I see
Okay.
a lot of information on Facebook and so on, about business credit. That word seems to be trending, and people are putting lists out there, and they're saying,
Mm.
these are the things that you need to do. And while that information may be factual, the details they did not give you. They didn't tell you how to use that information. They
Mm.
didn't tell you that that may take 6 to 9 months to build business credit, because think about it like this. Let's say you get an account with a Granger.
Mm.
Then you got to order something.
Mm-hmm.
Then once you order, it's got to get delivered to you. Then you got to pay them. So to get the best credit rating, there is we got a hack in terms of how many days ahead you pay. Because paying business credit is not like paying personal credit. When we pay personal credit, we got a due date on a credit card,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna get it in just that night before, because everything, we can go online and we can pay it as long as they get it posted. Well, with business credit, it's different. You need to pay it as early as possible. The earlier you pay it, the better your credit score becomes, and to maintain
Mm.
that high credit score. So you don't wait until it's due to pay it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to pay it early. So there are some little hacks that we can share that can say, okay, as you're monitoring your credit, make sure that when you get it, check it in, everything okay. And then, you want to pay your invoice early, maybe
Mm-hmm.
14 days ahead or something like that. And that's how you can ensure that you're getting the best credit score, because there are some requirements. But again, that's why we say it takes 6 to 9 months to build business credit.
Hmm.
Another thing about business credit is because you could go into the bank and you can say that you want to get a credit card, and they're like, okay, what name you want to put on it? They said, I want to put my business name on it. Well,
Mm.
they ran it on your credit, it's on your personal, and they put your business name on it. A lot of people think now I got business credit. No, that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
You just got a credit card that has your business name on it, because business credit is more than just that. But a lot of people think that that is really all it is. So you can go at your own pace. The amount of time it takes is really 100% up to the business owner, because these are the things that we talk about being the business of the business, the back end, the administrative part of running a business. That's what building business credit is going to become. There is something that you have to do something. You have to do something. And consumer credit could take years of well-disciplined borrowing, to ever get good credit. Anybody can see your business credit reports. Anybody can pull your business credit. Consumer credit takes years, okay? But
Mm-hmm.
business credit, remember, it doesn't. So it's important to build a solid, financial reputation as
Mm-hmm.
you are going through. And even a successful company has used business credit to get where they are today.
Hmm.
And I like to use Walmart as an example, because we all shop at Wally World, and
Mm-hmm.
all of that merchandise, Walmart purchases all of that stuff using about 85 to 90% business credit. So if
Wow.
you think about, they have accounts with all of these different vendors, and
Mm-hmm.
they're supplying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they make that payment once a month, but in
Mm-hmm.
that 30-day period, how many times did that merchandise turn over? How much money have
Exactly.
they
So they're
made?
using that money to make more
There
money.
you go. There you go. So they know how to use other people's money. And that's what we're
Mm-hmm.
trying to get everyone who has a business or is thinking about a business, is to start out using other people's money.
So I
So
got a
every
question.
successful company has used business credit to get where they are today.
Mm-hmm. So,
and then personal guarantees. And after a while, you really don't have to even give that personal guarantee after you've established, because you got a good, your business credit is in order, you pay on time. And so therefore, that's when you will hear people talking about they bought cars.
mm-hmm,
They didn't have to put down anything down. They just put it in the business name. They buy
mm-hmm.
houses in the business name. So again, there is business credit can benefit you and not interfere. So if you got credit cards, personal credit, now we can get business credit. You've doubled the amount of credit that you have access to.
Okay, I have a question. So if
Okay.
you have a business and you put that business in the name, I mean, you put a property in the name of the business, that business is that helping to establish some type of form of credit for that business? Or
No.
so the
Mm-mm.
only way it's going to work is if you actually go and apply for some type of business credit, whether it's with Home Depot or someone.
Okay. Now just let me say,
Mm,
um, your business profile will dictate which accounts you need to apply for and when. Business credit is built in tiers. And I'm glad you use Home Depot as an example.
mm-hmm,
Business credit is built in tiers. So there's tier one type of an accounts, and those are those trade lines that I talked about that are set
mm-hmm,
up just to help you start building business credit and don't require a personal guarantee. You have to pay them their net 30 account, so you got to pay them off in 30 days,
mm,
but you don't have to order from them every month, just maybe once a quarter or, twice a year, just to
mm,
keep the business credit score, keep that process in place.
mm-hmm,
Now, there are tier two types of an account. So once you've gotten X number of tier one accounts with Experian, with TransUnion, with Dun and Bradstreet, now you can move to tier two. So when you get to tier two, based on your credit profile, you may be applying for different accounts than what I'm applying for because our businesses are different and we have different requirements.
mm-hmm,
So that's tier two. And then there's tier three and there's tier four before you get up to borrowing, $300,000 or something, that effect. The point I want to make is you may go in and apply for a credit card
mm,
for your business and get
mm,
declined
mm.
because it's a tier four product. You didn't know that. It had nothing to
Um,
do with anything other than you don't have any tier one or any tier two accounts on there. And that's their criteria says that they want to see that you have come from here, you progressed, you got more, and now you're over here to them. And they're like, okay, you've done tier one, you've done tier two. So if, Home Depot may be a tier two, could be a tier three, I don't know. But again, if you don't have the prerequisite, they
mm,
will decline you. So there is a lot of, I call it the devil in the details.
mm-hmm,
That's the information that you don't get when you're just going out to Google and they give you a list of stuff you need to do.
mm,
And you think, oh, I'm gonna do this today. I'm gonna work on this one. I'll do no, the order does matter. The
mm-hmm.
order that these things are done in does matter. That's why
So,
we're saying it could take, 3 to 6 months for it to just start clicking.
so a
And
new
now
person,
every month.
okay, so a new person with a new business getting started needs to find out if they're going to go for credit, they need to be looking for tier one type credit to get started. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Now, when you say looking for, my question is people don't know where to look.
Exactly. So that's why we have you on here because you're telling us what we need to do.
Yes, that's why
So,
Orchard Business Funding and advisors. That's why we exist because we do have the software like you were talking about. We have our program is automated. We have an automated platform, and we have it's not just me. I have a team that works with me. We have credit advisors and
mm-hmm,
they're working with you so that you have a coach and they're
mm-hmm,
coaching you through this process saying okay now you need to provide us with this information because they do not just accept your word to say that you've accomplished certain things. You got to upload this information so that it's there for them to work with. Then once you have gotten through you get a dashboard and you can, track where you are. Once you have accomplished uh the tier one products, they unlock the next level of products. And based on your profile, they will give you all of those accounts that you can decide which ones you want to apply for based on what you need. Now, my
Hmm.
thing is, if you have an EIN, that
Mm.
entitles you to certain things.
Okay.
Now, if you understand what I am, I'm basically a consultant, a business consultant.
Mm-hmm.
And in all transparency, I've got some fleet cards. I don't drive. Bernard, if I was driving one of your trucks, I might need the fleet card to gas up. But I've got fleet cards. I also have a Lowe's business card, and I've got a $14,000 credit line on this card. So if I ever want to start flipping houses, you follow what I'm saying? It was
I hear
because I
you.
had that EIN that I could apply for certain things.
Yeah. So you've
I was
already
working
built,
with,
you set yourself up already.
yes,
And if
you're
you
going to
went,
start positioning yourself for other possibilities when you start building business credit.
mm,
When you start building business credit. I was speaking with one young lady, and she does interiors. And I was like, you know what? I've got a $15,000 Wayfair account, Wayfair professional account.
oh, I
Because
love
I think I
Wayfair.
can do what you do. Because I watch HGTV. You know I can't, but I watch HGTV. And I think I could do all of that kind of stuff. And if you look at, if you have an EIN, you're entitled to apply for a lot of different stuff, and you can use it a lot of different ways. So you may say that that number is incorrect.
Did I
Three
spell it
one
wrong?
seven 319 7319.
Oh, you on top of everything, aren't you?
Yeah, but I'll give you my business number
Okay,
before we
what?
get off, and they can go to my
Okay.
website.
Okay.
But there's a lot more to it than just what you see, what I call them Facebook University. There are a lot of people that go to Facebook University and they want to talk about business credit. But as you can see, it's more to it than what they're talking about. But we actually do business credit, not just talk about it. We actually will help you to get business credit. That's what we do.
Okay, so I got a question. So is
All
your
right.
platform similar to like I pay so much a month and I deal with Experian, okay? And so they track my credit. The minute that something hits that's not right, I get a little notification. I go in and see what's going on. I make sure I correct it. Is your program similar to that, or is your program strictly for helping a person build their credit?
We are strictly to help you build business credit. So we will start out from the very beginning and find out, okay, uh, a credit advisor will start calling you so that they will let you know that they're calling on my behalf,
Mm,
and they want you to get used to being able to call them back, to know that you've got somebody that you can ask. You got a coach, you got somebody to ask questions of.
okay.
So the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to take you through what I said, is your business set up correctly, because lenders want to make sure. So my question is, you went to the Secretary of State, so you got your EIN. Are
Mm,
you an LLC? Who are you? Do you
right.
have a business address, or
Mm-hmm,
do you use your home address? Well,
mm-hmm,
if you have a trucking company and you use your home address, when that lender's underwriter looks for you, your house gonna come up, and that does not look like a trucking company to them. So they're
mm-hmm.
gonna say, huh, well, I thought this was supposed to be a trucking business. Where are the trucks? So again, that's a red flag to them. So we got to talk
Mm-hmm.
about possibly getting a virtual address. Do you have a website? People tell me, well, it's in progress. Well, if you're going to go to a lender, it needs to be done by the time you get there. I understand it's in progress, but you need that. What is your
Right.
website? If you're using Gmail or whoever, all of these personal emails, that is not a business email. You're going to have a business email. Is
Mm-hmm.
your number listed in the 411 directory? So there is a list of things that you need to do to appear legitimate to a lender. And that is before we even start getting you applying for these trade lines.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you have other things to do, you got a life, you got a business to run. It may take you a few days, it may take you, you know what I'm saying? But you can always go into your back office and see where you are. Or you can always call if you have a question. And with the program that we provide, you get us for like 12 months, and you really don't need us for a year. But we're going to take you from just getting started all the way up to you're going to get a business loan if that's what you're looking for.
Okay, now, so if someone wanted to get started, where do they go? And is it the same price for everybody, or does it depend on um what type of business you have? Or, you know.
It's the same for everybody. Your business is going to dictate, your business profile dictates which accounts you apply for, but the
Mm,
process is the same for
mm,
anybody and everybody. Everybody has to go through the same process. But what's different is your unique needs. Your business is different. You
right.
know, you may have one type of account and oh no, I don't have that account, or we maybe have similar accounts. Or once we start getting into trade lines, you may say, I don't need anything from them. Well, you've got to shift the way you think. And I had to do that because when I started getting these trade lines, even though I am a consultant and I didn't really think I needed them, but I needed them for business credit. Because think of
Mm-hmm.
it as a game. You can't win the game if you're not don't know what the rules are, you don't know how to play.
That's
So I'm
right.
in it to win it. So I'm applying, and now I'm like, I don't need any of the things that but you know what? They sell toilet paper, they
Mm-hmm.
sell coffee, they
Mm-hmm.
sell paper towels, they sell
Mm-hmm.
light bulbs. So I had to now just shift where I was shopping in order to have a reason to use these creditors, because you have to
Mm-hmm.
use them. If you don't use them, there's nothing to report.
Right. That's
And
great.
there is going to be a time that because of your business, you may use suppliers that do not report to a credit bureau at all because they don't
Mm-hmm.
have to. And
Mm-hmm.
you need to know the difference, because have you been doing with somebody thinking that you have business credit and they don't report, and now you want to go to a bank and they say, well, there's nothing there, there was no credit score, and you're going to say, but no, I've got business credit I've been working with. Now you still need to do business with those people, but you need to understand what you got to do to get business credit. So it's more intricate. Well, I don't want to say intricate, it's just more than what you may think it is, just looking at what people are telling you that have attended Facebook University.
Yeah, that's funny. Everybody's an expert on Facebook. Okay.
Everybody's an expert, and the devil is in the details. But since they don't do that for a living, they don't know, the certain the ins and outs of what you need to really
Right.
be aware of.
Wow. Well, you're full of a lot of great information. I will put down your phone number on here for everyone. Anybody want to get in touch with you.
I'm gonna
But what
put
I
it in
want
the
to do
chat.
now, oh yeah, put it in the chat. So what I would like to do now though is I would like to open it up to our audience as we always do. And that's what I love about our podcast is that we're up close and personal. So you have an opportunity to ask the experts. So does anyone in particular want to unmute yourself and ask Clotilda Jackson any questions or comments? And she's put in here too. She's giving you her business name and her website.
Hi, this is
Hi,
Michelle. How are you?
Hey,
I'm
Michelle,
fine.
how you doing?
Good. Hi, Dr. B.
Hi.
So, this is a big question I've always had on my mind. So, suppose you're a startup
Mhm.
and you're going for business credit. The lender can look and see all of your paperwork line up. You have a business line, you have a website, etc. All those details that you mentioned.
Mhm.
But won't don't I still have to have don't I still have to qualify under my personal credit and be a personal guarantor for that business entity? Say for my first loan, for example.
For your first loan, it depends on the lender, and it depends on what the loan is for. They're going to ask you for information so that they can identify who you are. But it depends on what you are. There are different types of loans that you can get. You can get accounts receivable loans, you can get inventory loans. There's all different types of loans. So I don't know what type of loan you might need. That's where we're a little
Okay.
bit different from the bank, because maybe if you were going into a bank, you might say, I need, I'm just using a number, $500,000. Okay. But for us, we can do something that's called stacking loans, because we have different programs for different reasons. And you may get money from one loan type to do one thing, and then they'll get another loan from another source to do another thing, and they stack them together so that you get the funding that you need. Some things that you need on a daily basis can be obtained with business credit. That's why I'm saying don't automatically assume you need a loan. You need funding. Funding can come in the form of a line of credit. It can come in the form of high limit credit cards that can be liquidated. And that's what they know that you're going to pull the cash off of them because there's something that you need to do. And then there are the traditional loans that we think about when we think about a vendor and a loan.
I see. Okay.
Did that
All
answer
right.
your
Thank
question,
you.
Michelle?
Yes, it does. I guess there's so many different ways to slice and dice it and get money in your pocket is what you're really
Yes.
saying.
Pretty
Okay.
much. And then I would encourage people, I hear a lot of people saying that when they retire, they're going to start a business or whatever the case may be. But I would suggest if you've got a name for your business and you know what it is that you want to do, you can start doing that now because all you need is that EIN to start building business credit.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're
So,
going to be making purchases of things that you may think that, okay, I've got a check coming in right now, so I can make sure that I can pay these things that we're building business credit. So it's not necessarily that you need to wait until, some specific time to start building credit.
well, I'm thinking too, just business in general. And a lot of times we're just ignorant because our ancestors didn't have businesses or whatever it might be, but you need to have a business. I don't care who you are. I learned that years ago. I remember in my early 20s, just in the office, listening to men talk, or different ones talk about business and stock and whatever it might be. And I realized that once I had my own business, and there's so many write-offs. I listen sometimes to my son doing his presentation for the travel. He goes, well, I had to go all the way to Dubai to tell you how it feels for me to put my toes in the sand. That sounds crazy, but he's making a point because that trip can be written off with his taxes because he has to go there and experience it so he can market it and share it with you. So what do you think he can do with that trip? Write it off. You got to taste the food to make sure it's good in the restaurant. I mean, there's so much experiences that people do and they're able to write off, but that's back to getting you a good CPA. A lot of times I hear people talking about, well, I only pay my person do my taxes $25. Well, you're gonna get $25 worth of services. I'm sorry. I mean, at the end of the day, if that's all you need, cool. But in reality, you need a very good, when you start taking care of business, you need a tax consultant. You need my CPA, he actually can say to me in October, you know what? It looks like you may end up owing. So you need to go buy a car. He told me, he said, you need to go buy a vehicle for at least 50,000. I said, really? He said, yeah, and don't lease it. You need to buy it. I mean, that's how I ended up with one of my cars. I wasn't planning on getting another car, but guess what? Had I not gotten that vehicle, I was going to owe Uncle Sam. But if we don't have strategies and if we're not planning ahead, we can't be, it's cutting us off before we even get started. And like what Clotilda just said, if you're going to retire, well, I'm going to retire and start a business. No, you need to start a business now and start working towards building that business up so that when you really want to put full force in or you want it to start to make money so that when you retire, that's your extra income. That means you need to get busy. So any other questions, comments?
Hi, yes, I did have a question.
Okay.
My name is Nikki.
Hi,
I've
Nikki. How are
been,
Hi,
you?
Nikki.
I'm great. Hi, everybody. I've been doing nails for 34 years, and I've been kind of like under the radar. So now I want to purchase a building because
We
my
already
daughter
know what
just
under
got
the radar is, but okay, I hear you, Miss Nikki.
right. I've always had a job though to pay my taxes, to pay Uncle Sam. But what I'm saying is, so I've done everything. I have a website, I have a LLC, but the one thing, I guess they just started some new programs about the LLCs. I've just been hearing, like you said, on Facebook, Instagram, something about $500 a day if you don't do this paperwork. So I did not I don't know, I didn't pay my money to reestablish my LLC. So I don't know if it's exempt.
Well, your LLC, you've had your LLC for how long?
I want to say right around the pandemic time. well, before the pandemic.
Yeah, you need to get that LLC. If no one has that name, go ahead and just put it.
No.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
but I didn't know. But like I said, I was hearing all of these different rumors. If you got a LLC, you have to pay $500 a day if you don't turn in paperwork every. So I'm not sure. So it kind of
No,
so yeah.
I don't
And
know.
like
I don't know what that is.
we never heard of that. Nobody
No,
on here
okay,
heard of that.
okay.
I mean,
So
you can feel, I put my, if you go to my calendar and get on my calendar, you can call me and I can, if you want to ask some questions, I'll be happy to, share some information. Because you
I
say you
do
want to
because
buy a building, that's
yes, now
definitely
I'm
a loan now. We got to
okay. So
build
that's what I
business.
was
Yeah.
interested in, and I was trying to figure out. So right now I'm renting a space. I've paid like $28,000 in rents. So I'm just tired of paying rent. I want to get my own building. So like I was saying that I wanted to know, since I'm into getting renting now, do I need to start small, like buying products, getting a card to buy just my products
No,
to
no, no, no,
start
no.
building credit?
Okay. I would suggest that you schedule, go on my calendar and
Okay.
schedule a time that
Yeah.
I can, the consultation is free, I'll talk to you and help you, to understand the steps of where you are of the process that you need to follow. But
Okay.
do not go apply for anything
Mm-mm.
yet.
Oh
Do
no,
not
I
apply
haven't.
for
Cause
anything just
yeah,
because you
no,
came here tonight,
no.
because that's another thing. The one thing that we say is that this is why having the right guidance is crucial when you're trying to get funding. It could mean the difference between just spinning your wheels, wasting a lot of time, getting rejection after rejection, getting frustrated, getting turned down, having what do you call it when they pull your credit? What do they call it on your credit? How many
Hits or
times your credit?
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
you
you
lose
don't want
points
that to
every time
happen.
you use it. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yes, and so we don't want that to happen, and that's the reason that we're doing things so that we know that that's not going to happen, and we don't want you out there just winging it. I don't want you winging it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No.
Absolutely.
So, and
right.
Nikki she has a legit business. She does nails. She does a great job. So I think she definitely need to get in touch with Clotilda because you're taking it to another level now.
Yeah.
And you've
Mhm.
already spent all this money, thousands of dollars in rent. And hopefully you've got where you can track that you paid that rent and that and all that kind of stuff, because they may ask for that. But now it's time for you to definitely get that LLC back in order and don't pay any attention to what they were saying about this 500. I never heard that at all. But get that back, because see, when you establish that LLC, you started a start date, which means you want your business, the older your business is, that helps too, right, Clotilda? When they can look at the date that you started versus if I start one today versus I started one 3 years ago.
Because I heard you say something about they look into your licensing, correct? Like they
Well,
can see how
if
long
you
I've
need
been
a
licensed.
license, not
Well,
every
she has to have
business
a
needs a
license.
license,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Not every
Oh,
business needs a license, so that
right.
would be dependent upon what it is that you're doing to make
She's a
sure that you have your
cosmetologist.
license.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I would suggest that, you need the guidance, the coaching and so on and so forth, because otherwise you're just going to end up frustrating yourself. I know, you're going to get frustrated and then you're going to say, oh, this don't work and I'm going to give up, or either you're going to, use all your money up, and no,
Mhm.
don't do that. We're going to use OPM. Y'all down with OPM, other people's
Yeah,
money?
other
OPM.
people money. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, OPM. So guess what, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end on this note. And
Well, I will
Clotilda
be in touch.
Jackson, you have definitely
Okay.
brought the heat. You've done a great job. Her number is on here if you all need to write it down. For those of you that cannot see the screen, it is 404-446-9137. That's 404-446-9137. And her website is orchardbusinessfunding.com. That's www.orchardbusinessfunding.com. So again, thank you all. You guys are such a blessing. You guys are supporting this podcast, and I'm excited. It was a dream of mine just to bring everybody together. And every week we've been able to really hit the mark and continue to educate, communicate, and elevate our communities. And we will see you all next week, next Tuesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. B, stress-free, real talk for you. So we're going to sign off and we're going to say peace and get in touch with Miss Clotilda so you
Yes,
can get your
thank
business
you.
together. All right.
Okay,
Great
Clotilda,
information.
wonderful, wonderful
Okay.
information.
Great.
Thank you. Great job.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Be
Great.
safe.